doorbell at Jimmy's house. Now, when you come to my house, my doorbell sounds like this.
Hey, we're live. People's Radio United, the People's Weekly. I'm Tim Best Buds, and I'm here with Canadian Glenn. What's up, Glenn? I don't know, Glenn. You're way up in Canada. You might not have heard any news about what's been going on over here. You heard anything? Yeah. Crazy times. So yeah, for all the people that might not know, a bunch of fascists raided the state capitol in Washington, D.C. And it was a lot of fun and games. Trump riled them up before they headed over there. And it ended with them crashing through the Capitol. Some of them getting killed in hilarious ways. They beat a cop to death with American flag poles. They ripped out the American flag sign. The American flags, and put Trump flags up instead. Real patriotic stuff going on from the Patriots. Glenn, you were muted the whole time. I'm sorry. Oh, so yeah, Glenn said Happy New Year, and then he basically said there's no news in Canada about anything going on here, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, right.
I wonder if this is like a cool thing, like now because I had you muted, I won't mute myself later on in the show like I normally do.
Is this the New Year thing?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, what the hell?
So yeah, crazy stuff, man. These are the people that were mad that the guy disrespected the flag by taking a knee, switching out American flags with Trump flags.
Well, in the true American tradition, there's never an historic event that is easily explained or limited in scope. The warnings were coming in for weeks that shit like this was going to happen. And, I just kind of assumed that considering the show of force seen throughout 2020 at the U.S. Capitol against, such well-known violent movements as BLM and others, everybody should remember the picture of full riot gear, military issued troops surrounding the entire Capitol. Who would have thought that with this going on, and with an incitement rally from the demagogue in chief down the fucking street an hour before, gee, who would have thought that maybe some security would be in order? But, when he started cleaning out all the civilian oversight at the Pentagon and either replacing it with an empty desk or somebody willing to try and curry some favor for what comes next, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing about the way the U.S. seems to work, that all these decisions that cause a disaster are all recorded. They're just not relayed in real time or anything close to it. So, I think the next month or 6 weeks is going to lay out quite an interesting roadmap. And,
Yeah.
I just saw something a little while ago that really made me laugh. Not only is there so much video around of the Capitol Police assisting or standing down, meanwhile, on the other side of the building, you have Capitol Police under threat of their lives. So, people were saying as it was happening, this is an inside job, this is an inside job. Well, it's every day it looks more and more like it was. And,
You think it was? I don't think it was exactly an inside job. I think there was a bunch of enablers within the inside that were working along with the people, just like the police who let them in, just like the police who were high-fiving and snapping selfies and everything.
Yeah.
They had military people in there going in with them. They had Congress people. They had council members. They had police from across the nation.
Yep.
Going in there with these fascists. Cops and Klan have always went hand in hand. That saying's not just a saying, it's the truth.
Yeah, I guess maybe the more accurate representation would be an inside collaboration.
Yeah, most definitely. It was instigated. That's what they want. They wanted it to be bigger than that. There's pictures of Trump's kids watching it on TV, all giddy about it.
Yep. So, yeah, and this is the thing. With a change in administration, there is political motivation, if for nothing else, to make the other team look super bad. And, in the Beltway bubble, that's enough. Never mind the case of deaths and the case of, vandalizing your own seat of government, regardless if you believe in that government. But again, I go back to the point of me being outside the United States. I don't think many Americans understand the opinion of the rest of the world when they see this shit coming from, the city on the hill, the beacon of freedom. And this is the kind of shit that's going on. It would have been one thing if there would have been a lot of Capitol Police. They would have fought tooth and nail, and they still got in. That would have been one thing. But that's not what we saw. And that changes the interpretation for everybody outside of the U.S. You're crooked. You guys are fucking crooked. That's all there is to it. And you're never going to live that down, and people are going to remember it forever.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Can you imagine if that was like just, let's say, 200, not even thousands, just 200, 300 Muslim cats?
Yeah.
You think they would have got in?
I don't think they would have got up the second set of steps.
Do you think anybody would on the media be like, we really got to just try to understand them and heal with them and understand why they did this, and they were just angry.
And, again, that's another thing, too, after the fact. It's so obvious to everybody else around the world that the American political class only plays to their own audience. They could give a fuck what the rest of the world sees and thinks. And, I can understand that to a certain point. But you can't pretend to tell the world that you're the first among equals and then not explain any of it. It's just, It's such a fraud. It's such a farce.
So what just for example, what is the mainstream media in Canada? What kind of headlines are they having? Like, what are your talking heads saying about this?
Riot is not a word that was used very widely at all. Right from the start, it was insurrection. So, okay, yeah. As far as a seditious act, no, nobody's coming out and calling it that, even though it is. But we're Canada. We're not France. We're not Germany. We're next door. So, we're not going to go too far. If the U.S. suddenly disappears, we disappear shortly after. That's all there is to it. Economically, culturally, everything. We're tied to you fuckers. There's no way out of that. But, at least they weren't calling it a riot here. Or a protest.
Yeah. Did you hear about some of the ways these MAGAs died? Like that quote unquote hero woman, she just got shot jumping through a window trying to be the first one in. And they're really calling her a hero. Like, she's a veteran. She's she's a whack job terrorist. But anyway,
I just want to say these are the same people that are calling Rittenhouse a hero. So take it from there.
Yeah, that's true. Nazis love Nazis. So this other dude, did you hear about the dude that tased himself in the groin until he died trying to steal a painting, and his taser he had in his pocket or in front of his pants went off and it wouldn't stop, and he died from that? Classic comedy right there.
Electric balls cause of death.
Yeah, someone should make a skit about these people. Just mocking them. Mocking their deaths, mocking their lives, mocking everything about them because they're shit.
And then we have the other one about a patriot who was, all of 5 feet tall with a 4 by 8 foot flag around their neck in a crowd that was rampaging, and somebody stepped on the flag and fell down and got trampled. Gee, who could have ever imagined that happening? Like, these people are so fucking stupid, man.
So yeah, Blue Lives Matter, huh? These are the people that pretty much as long as I can remember, the police backs are facing them. The police are willing to beat us, to hurt us, to destroy us, to lock us up, to just brutalize us so we don't hurt one of these snowflake Nazi racist scum because they back the blue. Blue Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. They're the best, right? So what was it? 50-something cops got injured. Different variants of injuries or whatever. And did you see the video? They beat that cat to death with flagpoles, American flagpoles, and all kinds of other stuff.
Well, that's the thing. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The rest of the world is watching that. And they're thinking, especially say if it's the Middle East or the Arab world, and they see that. And they say, and you fuckers think you can send your troops over here to police us and we're going to respect you.
Exactly. Police yourselves. Take care of your own thing.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. And then there was also, it was recorded. I don't know if it's on video, but I mean, this woman saying to Capitol Police, what are you doing? Like, you're supposed to shoot BLM. You're supposed to shoot Antifa. You're not supposed to do that to us.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
They got a meme. It's so hilarious. It's a Animaniacs. Have you seen that one?
Not sure.
Oh, do you know the Animaniacs theme song? It's like we're wacky or zany. I don't know. A whole bunch of words that end with Y. But then they have that that woman is like, they maced me and they beat me right in the middle of the song. It's so funny. I can't describe it on here. I'm trying to, man, Glenn, we're having issues, technical difficulties. I'm trying to get everything routed. I think I need one more DI box. So sooner, one great day, we're going to be able to have you and whoever's on the show be able to hear everything. Like we could play audio clips and you'll hear the music and stuff, because that's a real problem Spreaker has, and they haven't ever given us what we've been asking for years.
Well, that might require some speaker or some server space or some bandwidth from them, and they're not into that.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't it be nice if everyone on the show could hear the same thing?
Yeah.
I'm going to make it happen. It's just they make you jump through hoops.
Of course. Of course.
So yeah, that's coming in. Like I could have played that. That's why I brought it up just now.
Well, if there's anything else you want to talk about regarding the actual events, I mean, the behavior of some of these, especially newly elected members of Congress, is unbelievable. I mean, if you go back to the McCarthy witch hunt days, I'm pretty sure that comparable events, a lot of these new House representatives would have trouble, even being in public right now. Some of the stuff that they pulled off from inside the Capitol, that is basically, I don't know what to call it. I would call it something along the lines of aiding and abetting the enemy is kind of what I see. And, I mean, we're used to politicians in Canada doing the exact worst thing possible for the people they're supposed to represent. And, we bitch loud about it, that, hey, we're paying you, you assholes. This is not cool. But this, to be tweeting where certain members in the power structure are at certain times during the insurrection, that is sedition. I'm sorry, there's no other way to explain it. And, it's going to depend a lot on what happens with the 14th Amendment. Considering now, considering that the Democrats have all three branches, there ain't nothing that can stop them if they want to do it. It just depends on how much heat they want to take.
Yeah, it's all politics.
Yeah.
They're like, Biden's first 100 days should be celebrated as something else. We don't want to tarnish it with this and that. Who cares, man?
Yep.
They're just so pathetic, man. These people suck. Pelosi's the worst.
Well,
she's really done nothing, and she takes credit for doing everything. And nothing gets done, but we're supposed to thank her.
See, that's what happens.
She wrote a harshly worded letter. What?
That's what happens with a corporation. It's the CEO that gets all these awards. Meanwhile, it's everybody else who did the work.
Yeah, but there's no work getting done. These people are lazy. I mean, they gave us $1,800 in the last year, basically. People aren't working. People are going homeless. Unemployment rates flying through the roof. And here's $1,800. Figure it all out. Good luck.
Yeah.
It's
That's
ridiculous.
true. It is true.
I mean, honestly, I don't know why everybody isn't storming every government building across the nation, but for much, much, much different reasons. And I think if that
Exactly.
was the case, people wouldn't be so like, ew, these people suck. I mean, a bunch of Nazis, because you know the saying, if you're with Nazis, you're a Nazi. And there were definitely Nazis there. We've seen the pictures of the shirts, Camp Auschwitz, 6 million wasn't enough.
Yep.
All, you know, they're throwing up Nazi salutes,
Yep.
Confederate flags. So yeah, these people, they're all Nazis. If you're doing the same thing with Nazis that Nazis are doing, you're a Nazi. Some of these famous cats were over there making money. Somebody made like $2,000 streaming the thing. I heard one of those right wing dudes.
Figures.
People like Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk were saying they gave 80 buses full of people to go down there.
Yeah.
And they were all proud of this, and now they're like, no, we left before anything jumped off. It wasn't so bad. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Is that kind of like saying, oh, we left an ounce of tainted heroin out on the step. We didn't sell it to anybody or see who took it. And then, there's fucking 40 people dead the next day. It's the same
Yeah.
so-called logic. And you can't bring a bunch of weapons to a fight and then leave and say you had nothing to do with it. It just doesn't work that way. And I saw somebody on Twitter say Charles Manson was never at the Tate or LaBianca murders.
No, he didn't do it. He didn't kill anybody.
No, he wasn't even there. But yet he served the rest of his life in prison for murder.
A lot of mob bosses too, same thing.
Yeah, so I mean, come on. Get real.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, what's going to happen now? Well, there's all kinds of things that are already popping back up, which they always do. And I mean, we've talked on this show numerous times about any powers that are given to a president. The next one doesn't give them back. They use them too. And the same thing is given some big tools to the new administration for punishing people from January 6th.
Yeah, let me before we get into this, because it's funny, I just want to say what I said before this show, that what they're doing, if you pay attention to the media, they're starting to call these people not fascists, not Trump supporters, not MAGAs, not terrorists. They're calling them anarchists. And they're doing it for a very, very specific reason, I believe.
Yep.
It's because they're not anarchists. If you're fighting to put a dictator in place, you're fighting because your side of the government lost, but you want your government to, be run just the way you want it run. That's not really an anarchist. Nothing about that is anarchy. Anarchy is a lack of government. That's pretty much what the whole thing is. No government. No gods, no masters, no rulers, whatever. So don't buy the crap, because what they're doing it for is so Biden could come in. Because the only people, all the Democrats, we're losing all these people. We're losing the liberals. We're losing the quote-unquote progressives, whatever they're called. They're going to go over there and figuratively blow Biden all day. And then there's going to be people out there fighting still. And when we get attacked by the police or other people, like another Standing Rock that happened under Obama, by the way, stuff like that, and they're brutal and they attack us. Now they can be like, oh, those are those anarchists that tried to, take over the Capitol. They might be here saying different things, but they're anarchists just the same. But no, these people are fascists. These people are not anarchists. These people are Republicans. These people are Trump supporters. They're conservatives, and some of them are libertarians, I'm sure. That's what these people are. Don't let them flip this the way they're trying to do it. Because Biden's an evil fascist too. And he's about to take power when and if Trump leaves in a week and a half now or something. Um, and he's going to be brutal, and a lot more people are going to support him. And these wackadoos out here going crazy for their cult leader, God, whatever, they're not making it any better. They're making it a lot harder on people that are fighting for equality and justice and equal rights, you know. So the media is going to start pushing for Biden now. So just know that's what they're doing.
This is one of the inherited gifts that corporate media get, because they are the ones with all the video in the world to draw from to paint their picture the way they want to paint it. And yeah, it's going to be very easy now to label anybody. When they use words like anarchist, it's so open-ended in the way America uses that word. But then, I mean, that's like any political system word. I mean, 4 out of 5 Americans have no idea whatsoever what real socialism is, or real communism for that matter. But they should know what fascism is, and they don't. And they should know what vulture capitalism is, and they don't. So at least they're consistent. But yeah, I agree with you, Tim. This thing of using catchwords like anarchist, it's basically undefinable to the American on the street. So whatever they tell you an anarchist is, that's what an anarchist is. And yeah, it's gonna be a good out for them for a while. And like we've talked about before as well, once Biden and Harris get in, they're going to really, really push this. Everything's okay now. We're in charge. Everybody go home. And the other thing that's added to that tactic now is that the people who say fuck that and don't go home, 9 out of 10 of them will be MAGAs. So that'll make things easier on the one hand, but you know, it's only perpetuating this worldview they want to impose. And eventually they want to get back to the point where anybody who's on the streets against the government is bad. That's the ultimate, that's what they want to get to. And, you know, I mean, good old Rahm Emanuel never let a disaster go to waste. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. And, you know, and I mean, this is all just about stuff on the 6th. Never mind the 17th or the 20th or whatever else these idiots have in mind. But I don't think it's going to be worse than it already was. I just don't think they're going to allow it.
I think I see different scenarios when I run them through my mind that are possible, you know? Because it's not confined to just Washington. They got these little worms, these little maggots all over the place. Like downtown LA, but they're small, you know, and a lot of places there's tiny little groups of 100 or 200 or something. Max, if that. Sometimes it's 10 or 50, right? Yeah. So they got a little group in downtown that was beating up some black women and attacking people. And they're out there with weapons.
Yeah.
Talking about murdering and killing people, and the cops are standing right there while they do the assaults. Nobody, you know, just like always, the cops let the Nazis attack. We attack the Nazis, we get attacked by the cops. The Nazis attack us, it's all fun and games. You shouldn't have been there, huh? Ha ha ha.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, one or two of these cats decide they want to just go and start shooting up a plaza because there's non-white people or people they don't agree with or quote-unquote baby-eating Democrats. I don't know. Stuff like that might happen, you know?
Yep.
Because if you look at it, the Capitol thing, that's cool. I'm cool with them killing cops, and I'm cool with cops killing them, and I'm cool with them killing each other in silly, comical ways. Because you know, That's what they want. That's fascist on fascist violence. It saves people the trouble in the end. Those are people that aren't going to come and attack people. Those are cops that aren't going to murder people for no reason because they all murdered each other instead. So that's great. I wish they get done with the army, the police, and give them hell.
Yeah.
But I worry about the people. Like I don't want to see like terrorist attacks. I don't care about Senate. I don't care about Congress. I don't care about presidents. Fuck all those people. They don't do anything for us. They murder people all overseas. Their lives are worthless. You know, they knew the job was dangerous when they took it. They robbing us of a lot of money. None of them make under $100,000 a year. You know, let them deal with it. Hire security. Do whatever you got to do. That's on you. That's not our problem. Go to war with each other. Go to war with all these fascists and go to war with each other. I love it. It's the other people I worry about.
It's the collateral damage.
Yeah.
No, that's for sure, man. That's a very valid point.
I mean, if you want to get rid of anti-fascists or Antifa or whatever you want to call us, the best way to do it is for all the fascists to kill each other. And then we'll be a lot more quiet about our anti-fascism. We could just be people again, right? Because there's no fascists to fight. There's nothing to be anti. So, yeah, I don't give a damn if they kill each other. It's just I'm worried about the terror attacks on the other people. People in the streets. People that don't fit their description of righteous. You know what I mean?
And
there's a whole lot
of
groups they hate.
Yeah, and what always happens with this is there are always people who are in the wrong place at the wrong time. And they're the ones who pay, you know? I mean, this has always been the big scare tactic and the way to shit on either street gangs or the mafia or whoever else. Every time they have a hit in public, it's always about all the innocent people around. Well, it doesn't seem to be quite an issue when it's done by certain other factions, which needs to change.
Yeah. I mean, I that's the thing. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I know they're throwing around the 17th and the 20th and all these dates, and they're going to take over every courthouse in the country and blah, 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 blah. And stuff like that might happen in some places. You know, there might be cats that rush up in some courthouse or something here or there, or take over a city hall or something. Oh, well. That's buildings. That's cops and politicians. Like I said, I'm worried about them coming out into the streets.
Yeah.
And hurting people, random people. You know, things like at a protest, hurting people at a protest, you know, trying to hurt a lot of people at once. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Well, I mean, you can even go 10 years back. You can look at what happened in Tucson when Gabby Giffords got shot in the head.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, that was nothing but a simple, come meet your congressman at the Safeway. And look what it turned into because of one fucking idiot. So, yeah, it's a real threat. There's no doubt about it.
And you see how they do it? All those people, the innocent people that died, all you hear about is a politician.
Yep.
None of those other people matter anymore. Just that politician, she recovered, she's doing great, and she's sticking it to him.
Yep.
See, but to me, the other people are more important than the politicians. If the politicians go, oh, well, who cares? We can elect another one, quote unquote, elect.
Well, see, that's the other thing, too, that never gets discussed or explained. If Congress, if Representative Giffords wasn't there, the shooter wouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
You know, and then all these innocent people would be alive. So, you know, interpretation is everything, as usual.
I mean, these people are terrible murderers. They're all got blood on their hands. I mean, if they're on a city level, they're allowing their police to murder people and get away with it. If they're on a national level, a federal level, They're slaughtering people overseas and not saying a word is just normal. They're allowing people to die all over the place. They have the power to stop people from dying, yet they don't because they make money off it.
Yep.
So why should I give a damn what happens to any of them?
Absolutely.
But yeah.
as we're talking, we're getting around to the point where how labeling groups, quote unquote groups, by the power structure is a means to an end, as we've seen with 4 years of Trump and all this witch hunting about Antifa. And, this is the thing that I found today. And I mean, if I was some of these pricks who worked in the White House or in Trump's cabinet, I'd be a little concerned with who Biden's pick for Attorney General is. It'd be none other than Merrick Garland.
Yeah, I know.
The nominee for the Supreme Court that apparently 8 months wasn't enough time to get him in. So I don't think anybody has to paint any pictures there for wondering if Attorney General Garland will have suitable motivation to go after people that need to be go after. I think it's guaranteed. But over the last year, when Dogfucker Barr was still the Attorney General, they made a very big issue about trying to criminalize Antifa, whatever it is. And last September 17th, there was a memorandum for all United States district attorneys from who is now the acting Attorney General, Jeffrey Rosen, who was the deputy AG at that time.
Yeah, that Chad left real quick, huh?
Chad's on tour. But, the subject was charging in connection with violent rioting, including 18th United States Code Section 2384. And Attorney General Barr made it a point of that we're going to go harder after people that we can arrest under this section, and we're going to turn it into a crime against the state, basically.
Well, see, that's the thing. When they start trying to do these domestic terrorist stuff, the people in charge determine who the domestic terrorist is going to be.
Yes.
So like Trump is there. The fascists aren't going to be domestic terrorists. They could blow up 10 buildings and be like, oh, they're patriots. They were angry. Got to understand them. They had rough lives. Get let's do a touching story about them. They might lock them up or whatever, but they're not going to charge them with this or that. But then, you see what I'm saying? They'll say, oh, all these anti-fascists are domestic terrorists. Anyone who's been at a Black Lives Matter rally is a domestic terrorist. And then Biden comes in and he changes who's going to be a domestic terrorist. He might get it right. He probably won't. He'll probably get it half right. You know what I mean? And then you have the next, and when I say half right, I mean, just like Obama, there were a lot of groups that were claiming were terrorists or domestic terrorists that weren't. Bush, the same thing. I mean, at one point they were calling Anonymous a domestic terrorist group. It's ridiculous.
Well, I can remember at one point in time where there were certain members from certain states, California, who were considering street gangs being labeled as domestic terror groups.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
And
definitely.
I mean, that would have allowed the U.S. Army onto the streets.
So you see, that's what I'm saying. Like, it has to be like domestic terror is when someone does an act of domestic terrorism where people are died or tries to blow something up or, you know what I mean? Mass injure people, not show up at a protest and want to fight with some police.
Yep. Well, the part of this...
Smashing windows, burning buildings, that's not domestic terrorism.
Well, the funny part about this memo that was sent out, I mean, I'll just read a little bit of it here. And remember, this is written by who was then Deputy AG Jeffrey Rosen. The Attorney General and I recently discussed the need to consider the use of a variety of federal charges when they may be appropriate, including seditious conspiracy under Section 2384. I want to re-emphasize that message. As was previously pointed out, Section 2384 does not require proof of a plot to overthrow the U.S. government, despite what the name might suggest. As the Attorney General noted in our discussion with you, it also applies to conspiracies with any of the following objects: to oppose by force the authority of the government of the United States, to force or by force to prevent, hinder, or delay the execution of any law of the United States, or by force to seize, take, or possess any property of the United States contrary to the authority thereof. Well, this is on paper and it's official. Bill Barr just turned all those people who stormed the Capitol into domestic terrorists. Now, if that's not irony, I don't know what is.
I don't know, Glenn. Maybe you heard more about this than I have, but I this could be a rumor. But I heard with the charges that the people who have been charged already, or are not charged, what they're charging them with is basically like misdemeanor level stuff.
For now.
But it is
For
funny.
now.
It's hilarious to see these cats on the no-fly list flipping out and getting dragged out of airports.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, as long as they were trying to drum up charges against Antifa. Now, I mean, let's make it clear here that the reason that the federal Attorney General, the federal Department of Justice was muscling in here is because they were afraid that states wouldn't be prosecuting people harsh enough, and it was denying the Republicans a good PR position. They need examples to bring up and to hang in public scrutiny. And they said, hey guys, we could really get these fuckers here. This could also apply to damage to federal property, use of fire or explosives, civil disorder, riots, interstate communications, damage to veterans monuments. I mean, Bill Barr just gave Merrick Garland license to put all of these assholes away for 10 to 20 years. If the new Department of Justice wants to spend the time and effort to do it.
You know what I was wondering? I doubt it because Trump doesn't give a damn about any of his supporters. But I'm saying, what if during the last day, everyone who's been charged with anything, he just pardons them all? Every single one of them. And tries to blanket pardon whoever else names is on, for getting arrested in that.
Well, it's a good possibility, but it also depends if these people have actually been arraigned on charges, if they've been indicted. I mean, to be arrested and issued charges, you haven't been indicted.
Well,
I
heard that it's a possible. You know how their lawyers read stuff. Supposedly, it's possible Trump could just say, "My kids, anything they're going to do and anything they did having to do with this incident or that incident or whatever federally, they have a preemptive pardon for it." I'm just wondering if he could do that, because that would really suck. But I don't think he cares enough about his people to do that unless one of them becomes famous for something. Then he would jump on it. Let me pardon that one because it'll get me some press.
And if maybe one of them had around $280 million they can give to Deutsche Bank in the next 6 months, that might help too. I mean, obviously, Trump will he'll stretch the power of the office of the president as much as he possibly can because he just simply doesn't care. So, I guess that's always a possibility. And then would it be on the next administration to try and get that shit thrown out? Or, I mean, this is exactly what's wrong with partisan politics. There's way too much time spent fixing what the last fuckers did, and it accomplishes nothing and burns money and time. But that's a whole nother topic. But not only has Barr turned around and basically made it quite easy for the federal government to nail all these people to the wall the way things are now, and with the right people prosecuting, because of course, I don't think enough people realize that judges assigned in circuit and stuff like that, it's no accident. It's all set up. They can get the judge they want where they want. It's all worked out and thought about before the indictment is issued. So,
Yeah.
The state has got so much power, not just evidence. They can put you in front of somebody who's going to put you away, a hanging judge. They have them, and there's always more. But
we'll see.
It just blows my mind on how short the vision is for fascists. We're in charge today. We can fuck everybody who's not with us. Well, what happens when you're not in charge? And they're going to find out.
Yeah, the way I see it, in a couple of weeks, a few days left, we're going to get rid of this horrible fascist, most likely. And like I said before, we're going to have Biden, the other fascist. Racist, remember when Kamala Harris called him a racist? We got to keep bringing this up.
Yeah.
Because he is a racist. He wrote the Clinton crime bill. He's done nothing but racist garbage his whole time in there.
He destroyed Anita Hill in the hearings for Clarence Thomas.
He's been around forever just doing terrible, disgusting, fascist, racist, scummy things that are never in the people's best interest. Unless those people are really, really wealthy donors. So, and he's going to be able to get away with a lot more. We've said this a long time ago. Whoever come after Trump is going to have it's going to be so easy for him to get away with anything because Trump was so horrible. All they got to do is pretend to just smile once in a while. They'll get away with it. It's messed up.
Well, the other thing that I know we talked about a little bit last year, and I know a lot of people were worried about it. This failed coup on the 6th has certainly turned the U.S. military against this White House, which is what I would expect, but it's nice to see them come out and do it in such a forceful manner. I don't think there's really any reason to think that the U.S. military will be involved in anything except doing the right thing. Trump administration has no friends in the military, the actual military. I think that's clear now from what they've said yesterday and today. So that's a good thing. This isn't Argentina. So things should go that way. And some people have said to me, well, what's going to happen on the 20th? What's going to happen on the 17th? Well, the mayor of D.C. has extended the state of emergency. So that's step one. Step two was a continuation of government, saying that, they will do everything they have to do. And now the chiefs of staff have come out and said there ain't going to be no fuckery here on the 20th. So, they're already talking about numbers of National Guard troops available, et cetera, et cetera.
What happens?
I think they're going to be set up on the streets within a couple days. And there's nothing Trump can do about it to stop it.
What happens when all those nut jobs show up And then you got the National Guard out there and the police. And what percentage of them are QAnon conspiracy whack jobs? What are they going to do? Are they going to fight against the people who believe in the quote unquote greater plan and, all this garbage? Or are they just going to follow orders and go against everything they now believe in?
Well, again, this is something that is possible to control for the most part. I mean, there was a request from Congress that every officer that will be assigned to Inauguration Day will be getting another look over. The Department of Defense will be looking at everybody's file who's going to be working that day. So, I mean, that's a step that's never been considered before. And it was asked for and it was granted. Bang, bang, just like that. And it's the Department of Defense who's taking it over. So, I think that's a pretty big indication that the Pentagon's not impressed with this shit at all. And they understand, if anybody in the U.S. government understands the way the U.S. looks to the rest of the world right now, it's the Pentagon. And they want this shit to end because it's undermining them all over the world. And they didn't ask for it.
They're like, this is the shit we're supposed to do to other countries, not ours.
Exactly.
And the CIA's like, that's what you thought.
Exactly. Well, that's another thing, too. We have a captain in the Army who was a PSYOPs officer who had already put in their resignation from the Army, and it wasn't official yet, leading a group of 100 on the Capitol. So, that's the kind of advertising that the Pentagon's really not into. At all. I mean, it's hard enough for them with their campaigns for them to recruit as it is. I mean, they need bodies. That's the bottom line. The military needs bodies, and they're not getting them like they were even a few years ago.
They should never get them. They should have an option where people can say, I want to go and quote unquote serve my country. It'd be better if we just said, I want to go quote unquote serve the world. But I'm not going to carry a gun. I'm not going to have bombs. We're going to have some separate thing that actually go and help people.
Kennedy's Peace Corps is long dead.
Yeah, something for real like that, though.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they need something other than I get to go murder people so I can go to college and get an education and make money and get a pension. Yeah, it's stupid. No. I'll get health care because I'll be a veteran. Why can't you be a veteran of peace?
Yeah, true. Exactly. I mean, in Canada, for decades, that was a big thing because Canada was always a leader in UN peacekeeping duties. That blue beret carries a lot of respect in Canada.
Yeah.
It doesn't in the U.S.
No. If you have a beret in the U.S., and you're in the military, you're murdering people.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or assisting with murdering people, or facilitating the murder of people, or communicating so people can murder people, or whatever you're doing. People always be like, I just cooked. You cooked food for murderers. You fed the people so they can continue to murder people. I don't care what you did.
Yeah, I never knew armies had so many cooks. Funny how that works out.
Yeah.
But I mean, the just one more thing about what I think the giveaways that the military is giving that people better fucking smarten up is an unclassified memorandum to the entire military that came from the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and it's short, it's on one page, but it has the signature of every senior military leader in the country, from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs to the general of the U.S. Air Force, the general of the U.S. Army, commandant of the Marine Corps, the top admiral of the Navy. Everybody signed on to this. So, I mean, they're sending the message, I think, to anybody who will be deployed for the inauguration is you belong to the military and you're not going to fuck around because you're representing the entire military now. So quit fucking around. And it says, the American people have trusted the armed forces of the United States to protect them and our Constitution for almost 250 years.
Nope.
Yeah, I know. We have to accept their premise just for the rest of it.
Okay, we'll pretend. Go ahead.
As we have done throughout our history, the U.S. military will obey lawful orders from civilian leadership, support civil authorities to protect lives and property, ensure public safety in accordance with the law, and remain fully committed to protecting and defending the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. The violent riot, well, they're not saying insurrection. The violent riot in Washington, D.C. on January 6th was a direct assault on the U.S. Congress, the Capitol building, and our constitutional process. We witnessed actions inside the Capitol building that were inconsistent with the rule of law. That's an interesting way to put it. The rights of freedom of speech and assembly do not give anyone the right to resort to violence, sedition, and insurrection. There we go. I think as far as what the U.S. is supposedly stands for, all those fucking MAGA Q-tards need to hear that line right there. The rights of freedom of speech and assembly do not give anyone the right to resort to violence, sedition, and insurrection. That's it. That's the whole message that should be given out, you know? And then it says, as service members, which means all of us in uniform, we must embody the values and ideals of the nation. We support and defend the Constitution. Any act to disrupt the constitutional process is not only against our traditions, values, and oath, it is against the law. On January 20th, in accordance with the Constitution, confirmed by the states and the courts, and certified by Congress, President-elect Biden will be inaugurated and will become our 46th Commander-in-Chief. So, I mean, you know, it's pretty plain. Look, he won. We are the final boss of how shit works in this country, and no fucking around will be tolerated. So, you know, like I'm talking about what the rest of the world is hearing and seeing, that's a very important statement to a lot of the rest of the world. And they're not in the position of having to make this kind of statement. I mean, this isn't Egypt where another general becomes president. This isn't, you know, Argentina or some African country that has had coup after coup after coup. It's not Haiti. This is the United States. So, you know, I think it's sad that the U.S. media will not be giving that document enough attention, but it means something around the rest of the world. So that's why I say I don't think we're going to see another January 6th. I believe that the high command of the U.S. military will simply not allow it.
I mean, period. What are they really going to do if these people come? They're going to drill all the people? They're not going to shoot a group of white people. I'd be so surprised if they did. Well, they're not going to get by them.
They're not going to get by them. This is the thing. They can set up a perimeter.
I mean, if they're saying this is the last stand, that's what they keep saying, and they want civil war, why wouldn't they bring weapons and start shooting?
Well, I'll guarantee if National Guard units are fired upon with live ammunition, they will respond in kind. They're trained to be in the army. Somebody shoots at you, you fucking shoot back. That's it. That's why the Americans were never big on UN peacekeeping. That was the thing that the Canadian Army were most revered for. They came under fire numerous times and did not return fire because they're there to maintain a peace. American troops were never taught anything like that, and they don't practice it. I mean, as a comparison, look at Tiananmen Square. Beijing brought in Chinese army troops that were a 10-hour drive from Beijing because they had no idea what the fuck was going on there, and their job was to protect the country. That's why they killed their own citizens with no problem. Because that's what they're trained to do. They're a threat, but they're us. They're still the threat. Okay. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
I don't
I
like
just
the
don't.
military. I don't know. I'd rather the military we not start setting precedents where we have military and feds all in the streets in all different cities in the country. Because, it's going to happen to us for much less. What they would do maybe to these cats if they all came armed shooting at police and military, they would do to us a lot sooner. Just trying to go up in a building sometimes or something,
Yep.
Like we're storming, we're going to be heard, we're going to the microphone. No, kill them all. Nobody's even talking about hanging the vice president and kidnapping people. What was Celeb saying? They all have zip ties.
Yep.
What do you got zip ties for?
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean...
They're walking down and fuck anti-fascists. That's what they keep saying, chanting it. Who says that? Well, I guess fascists, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Cult members. I mean, that's the other thing now, too. I mean, this is irrefutable proof that a lot of these people are cult members because it doesn't matter who it is. If you don't support the Donald, then you deserve to die. And that goes to the GOP, that goes to cops, that goes to the vice president, everybody. That's a cult. There's no other way to describe it. This is just like the people that are willing to die for Koresh. It's just like, any other cult.
Yeah. Except
It's
your cult
insane.
leader has a really big bullhorn and a lot of power for a few more days.
Well, I mean, that's it, though. I mean, you only have the power if people give it to you.
But think
the
about it
thing.
like this, though, man. A lot of these people, depending on their age, Trump's the first person that, like, especially if they were raised really racist, Trump's the first person that's really talking their language. He's saying these people are rapists and killers, and these people are terrible, and these people are that, and you know what I mean? You're great. It's all these people's fault. Everything bad happened to you is not because it's your fault. It's because of these Mexican people, these black people, these whatever, now it's because of Antifa. I don't know, whatever it is. It's always, he's terribly racist. He's a horrible person. And they like that. Because this is like their last chance to hear it. And their only time they've ever heard somebody really in power blatantly saying it like that. Most of these cats hide it. Look at Biden. Look at McConnell. Look at Jeff Sessions, These are blatantly racist people if you look at their history, but they're not on the mic screaming it. And even when they are saying it, they're saying it in a little bit slicker ways,
Yep.
Trump's just blatant with it, and they love that because they're stupid. They don't see the hidden racism in this stuff. So they're like, "Oh, this guy's all, he's real. He's what it's all about. He believes just like me. He knows that I didn't screw up anything. It's these people that are screwing us all over. It's not the rich. It's not the government. It's these people, or maybe it is half of the government, right? The side I don't vote for."
Yeah, them.
But
that's
I
the
don't
thing.
know.
That's the thing. That's where the power is. Expanding the them.
And the older people,
highlighting them.
Yeah, and the older people who have seen blatant racism in their lifetime, they're like, yes, finally, that's what I'm used to. I needed this back in my life. Make America great again, like it used to be when we could like lynch black people and have a picnic and chill and take pictures and cut off their body parts and take them home as souvenirs. The good old days.
Yeah, Jim Crow.
Yeah, that's what they're thinking. Trump will bring that back. That's what these people, that's what they're fighting for. And I think they know this is their last stand. People ain't putting up with the racist crap anymore. We passed on past that. Like the majority of people aren't with it.
Well,
and all these people saying let's get along with the Nazis.
No.
What do they say? Heal and rebuild and unite, and for what?
No.
For what?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because 4 years ago, when Clinton won the popular vote and lost the Electoral College...
Fuck your feelings.
Exactly. You lost. Deal with it. Liberal tears, all this bullshit. So you guys want contrition now? You want
Cucks,
understanding?
snowflakes. Yeah, all this stuff they went on and on and on about forever.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Oh,
no
but it
way.
will be. You know how these people are.
Well, that depends. I mean, I think there is a chance that even if it's the same old song and dance and there will be some sort of official movement to just forget everything, I think there are some in the MAGA side that are too fucking stupid to shut up and let that happen. Because that's the thing too. When fascists lose and they ask for forgiveness, if they're smart, they shut up and go away for a while. I don't think that's going to happen here.
There's going to be a group of them that are loudmouths, but a lot of them are going to try to disappear in the mix. Like, it wasn't me.
But
as long as they don't have pictures and stuff, they're going to, yeah.
The thing is, Trump ain't going to shut up.
Yeah, he's not going to have as big a bullhorn anymore. He's off Twitter. He's off Facebook. Parler shut down. He doesn't even have an account. I don't know if he does or not, but I mean, he's off everything. And the only people that will give him something is the media. And do you think they're really going to spend another... I could see 6-8 months Trump still on every news station talking about, I was routed, send me money to do this, we're going to rebuild this, or I'm coming back in this, you know what I mean? And he might even come back around 2024 and try to run and grift a bunch of more money off people, whether he wins or not. I doubt he'll win, but I don't think they're going to spend time on him like that because he's going to be irrelevant. Like when they'll talk to him as when things come up, like an election or something, then he'll be the expert pundit coming on, and once in a while they'll have him on, but it's like because he's going to try to have more shows and stuff, right? He wants to redo The Apprentice, I'm hearing.
Well, that's just batshit crazy. I mean, there's no network that's going to touch him. He's done.
Wait, do you really believe that?
Oh, yeah. Do you think NBC is going to put him back on? Do you imagine the shitstorm that them and their advertisers would have to deal with? It's not worth it. It's simply not worth it.
But he has a built-in audience of probably 20 to 40 million people.
Big deal. He has a built-in audience that wants to see him dead that is 4 times that size.
That's true. Around the world, huh?
Well, that's just in the U.S. I can see 80 million people in the U.S. want him dead, for sure.
I think more than that.
Well, there you go. So,
these people don't understand. We have more people that vote. Only not even half the people in the United States vote.
Yep.
So, yeah, there's a lot more people that want him dead.
So, there you go. It's not worth it for NBC Universal for the hassle. It just simply isn't. But I think what the issue is he has, what's the right word? He has a tempered audience. There are more people that will basically buy a new computer if that's what it takes for them to see him speak. The hardcore degree and the number of them, I don't think it's happened before. There's been this many people this determined to hear what this idiot has to say. So that's going to attract all kinds of different things to the game. I mean, is it possible that he ends up on RT? Is it possible that there's a new online-only outlet? I mean, there are a fair amount of right-wing news, I use that term loosely, online-only setups. And, I mean,
like
considering
Newsmax
that,
or OANN, there's one of them,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. And considering that the Mercers seem to be involved in every one of these scams, I mean, they were behind Parler too. As long as there's money to be made by people who have no conscience, he won't be going away. And, I think, again, it's just like I said, if these people were smart enough to just shut up and go away, they could keep their powder dry and come back and, have a decent run at it. But the longer they keep screaming, the longer everybody's going to be screaming back. I mean, I just don't think they understand that disappearing for a while works. And with somebody like Trump, it's just not possible for him to go anywhere where he's not heard. He just won't tolerate it. So the issue is, who will carry his noise? And I think there always will be somebody, because there's a dime in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's a sideshow.
But that's a smaller, focused delivery. Something like network TV, no, it doesn't work. It's way past that.
Because you got 40 million people paying a monthly membership fee. Now you're getting somewhere, right?
Yep. And plus then you are the only voice. You are the only viewpoint. And you can't put a price on that.
Yeah.
For the way shit works, right? So it's going to be interesting, but, and I mean, it's just become so ridiculously nonsensical, where you have people that get deplatformed screaming that somehow their Bill of Rights have been violated. No, they haven't. Not at all. Private corporations can do whatever they want. That's what you insist. You all insist that's the way it has to be. And then people talking about repeal Section 230. Well, that would be immediate mass suspension of tens of thousands of accounts. Because if you suspend Section 230 of the relevant legislation and make the platforms responsible for content, they're going to be fucking wiping out accounts in the thousands. So, I mean, removing Section 230 has never made any sense. It's just another one of these rallying points for people who are too stupid to know what they're talking about.
Well, it makes sense from Trump's point of view. He just wants to attack the people that he doesn't like, and the companies that will get hurt by that are people he doesn't like for the most part, because they hurt his little feelings or whatever.
But it's the MAGA idiots who will be getting deplatformed first, because they're the ones who have the most incendiary things to say. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's all based on ignorance.
But that's stupidity. What they want. And they can scream, I've been censored for what I have to say. They don't want to hear the truth. If you want the truth, follow me and pay me on my Patreon account. You know how they are, man.
But that is decentralizing them. That is fracturing them. And that is the death of a coherent movement. We know that from our side.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know. I mean, the thing is, we're talking about the U.S. and you can't talk about anything without looking at the money side of it. And that's going to be a big thing here, especially anything Trump is involved in. I mean, if there's not big money in it, it ain't going to go. But,
Yeah.
what's as far as the inauguration, I mean, yeah, I'm not an American, but have it inside the White House and fucking stream it. Who cares? Why do you have to have this huge pomp and circumstance bullshit?
I have
Why
a
do you have
question.
to do that?
I don't, because it's BS. That's how they are. These people suck. Here's my question, though. So Trump's a horrible person and all that, right? We know this. But now, when the 21st of January comes and there's still children in cages, what are y'all going to do about it?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. Are you going to get out in the streets? You're going to be like, oh, we'll give Biden some time. Those children aren't in. Come on, they've been in cages already for 4 years. Let's just, longer than that, maybe some of them. Let's just let Biden work it out. Give him a chance.
Well, at least no more.
Shouldn't that be like the first thing he deals with? Getting these kids out of cages?
Well, the thing is, there are so many fires to put out. You're going to be hard pressed to find anybody in the apparatus who says that's priority one. That's the evil of government right there.
I'm just telling you, I don't think it's going to be a priority. I think people aren't going to care about it. That was my whole point.
Yeah. Well,
They're like, oh, well, Biden's in charge. We don't want to rock the boat. He might give us something.
Exactly. I mean, that is one of the big assumptions that is going to be pushed by networks, by everybody except Fox and Newsmax and OAN, that, okay, everybody can it's the same thing when Obama got in after 8 years of W. It's like, oh my God, that's finally over.
Yeah, so anything's better than what we just got out of. That's the way they're looking at it.
Exactly. And it's going to be, they call that the honeymoon period. It's going to be interesting to see what the honeymoon period is like for Biden and Harris.
There was a lot of people calling him Black Bush before he was ever elected. And they proved us right. Obama was nothing but a black version of George Bush. With, a smile and a lot more sense. It's just dumb. Kept the wars going. He did terrible things. He droned people. And he's the best president in history, according to these people, right?
Yeah, people who can't remember what they had for lunch yesterday. Yeah, he's
and
the
there's
best
people that say
president
Obama
ever.
was the worst president in history, too. Those are usually the racists.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't the best and he is not the worst. Trump isn't the worst president in history, by the way, y'all. If you believe Trump is the worst president in the history of this country, you need to do a little research into these sick bastards they call presidents. When Peter Tosh said all these great men were doing was robbing, raping, kidnapping, and killing, he wasn't lying.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess, it's going to be interesting because media has so much to do with everything that happens now. I mean, it's not just that they are the circling bug that politics can't get away from buzzing them. They're part of the process. I mean, there's nothing that is done politically without using corporate media because it's part of the program now. So, I mean, yeah, it's incestuous. Yeah, it's ridiculous and it's wag the dog, but it is the way it is. So, even months ago, people here in Canada would say to me, do you think Trump's going to lose? And I said, yes. And they said, how can you say that so soon? And I said, because the media is turning on him. The media wants him to lose.
Yeah, you
just
said
like the
that
media,
on the show before.
and that's what they did, and it worked. So it's going to be interesting now to see how the media plays remain calm, stay indoors, Joe's in charge. I'm really going to be curious to see how widely and how quickly they roll that out.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know,
I'm trying to see what's going on right now. The So yeah, looking at what celebs putting in the chat, Pence is not going to. Surprise, surprise! Pence isn't going to go for the 25th Amendment, right?
yeah.
So it's 208 yeses and 204 noes on the vote to what, impeach Trump again?
I'm not sure if that is the motion to send an official bitch about the 25th Amendment, or if that is second articles of impeachment. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I mean,
but that's what we expect. The Democrats have a majority, so whatever.
Did you see? Did Trump go to Alamo, Texas today? Not to be confused with the Alamo.
Yes, he did.
What did he do there? I didn't see that yet.
His speech was outrageous. In
a good way or bad way?
In a typically Trump way.
I'm just being funny. Go ahead.
He still insists that the election was stolen. Everybody's a traitor now. Everybody in Washington, the military's traitors, everybody's traitors. And, he's not doing anything to calm shit down. Nothing at all.
Yeah. Would you think he would?
Well, I mean, you never know.
I heard a snippet. Was that what he was saying? I don't want violence, but they screwed me over. I don't want violence, but this or that. Something kind of like that.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what that was from. Maybe that's what it was. I heard a snippet from that.
It's kind of like watching Godfather 2. It's like, yeah, well, he cost us a lot of money. Sure, it'd be terrible if something happened to him. Yeah, that'd be a shame. Yeah. Like it's the same bullshit. And look who he's giving it to. So, I mean...
So, just real quick, so you don't think any of these little wackadoos are going to even try anything? You think it's just squashed now and over?
Well, they may try.
Oh, you just don't think they're going to succeed in anything big because it's going to be guarded, right?
Not in D.C.
They're talking about going all across to, attack city halls across the nation or courthouses or whatever.
Well, I mean, when all those idiots invaded the Michigan State House and nothing was done to them, and then it was tried again in Wisconsin, and, then it was tried again once more. I can't remember where. And we also had the Bundy occupation.
But I'm saying
this few years.
They're allowed to get away with it time and time again. Why don't they just
exactly?
Assume?
But that has to change, and it will change. It's just when is it going to change? Now, on the 20th, are there a couple state capitals that might come under siege? Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised. That I would expect. But that's on governors with their state police forces for intelligence and their National Guard. Yeah. So that's on them. But as far as D.C. goes, I don't think anybody without proper credentials is going to get within 3 blocks of the mall or the Washington Monument or the Capitol or the White House or anywhere else, because this is the big day for the country. Money is no limit. They can put 50,000 troops on the streets if they want.
They don't search politicians going in, do they?
Well, that may change too. You never know. But then how many Republicans are going to go?
One of the Republican women was talking about she carries a gun in there all the time. That was the one that outed where Pelosi was.
Yeah.
And who's to say one of them won't bring in an explosive device or something, man? These people are nuts, some of them.
Oh, that's
like
full-blown.
QAnon conspiracy theories. They believe wacky, crazy, insane things.
Well, we've seen this before with the Tea Partiers, with people like Michelle Bachmann, who got their 4 or 6 years, and then it's like, yeah, okay, you're not funny anymore, you got to go. But these people are, yeah, they're much more militant, and they're much more direct with what they think should be done. As far as that wackadoo with the gun all the time, considering her behavior, I'll be surprised if she even gets to sit in the House. You know, because she's a first termer, she's a woman, she's a Republican in the minority, and she's demonstrated some really poor choices in her decisions. So I don't think even the Republican caucus, all them old white people, are going to give a fuck if she gets booted. They may look at it as something necessary to restore their brand. And they can say, see, look, she got in. She snuck her way into our system and we put her, and you voted her in. No, she's too far. We got to get rid of her. But the 10 fucking guys from Texas and Florida who are just like her, yeah, they're fine. Don't worry about that.
She's got a criminal history worse than most black people murdered by police.
Well, there you go, man. I mean, they may turn it around and make her a scapegoat.
It's just funny. These people, so many of them, they got these crazy criminal backgrounds. These right-wing people. I mean, they're heroes. The wannabe leader of the I don't know who the leader of the Proud Boys is ever. The one that's white and wants them to be Nazis and get rid of the what is he, the dark dude? He's
oh yeah.
He's like a home invasion burglar. Like that, he keeps getting arrested for that kind of stuff. So it's way out, man. These are their heroes, but then they're law and order.
Well, again, I mean, this is the problem. The United States doesn't have a national election protocol at all. It's up to the states to do it however they like to do it, and then just add it all up. I mean, that's how this happens. And I don't see any appetite to change that, especially from red states, because, you know, if they made their elections actually fair, they'd probably never get elected again. So we can't have that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Aren't you glad you don't live in this screwy place?
Yes. Yes, I am.
So, yeah, we should probably wrap soon. Is there anything we didn't go over that we need to go over?
No, I don't know. I mean,
there's a million things I know.
Well, it's going to be interesting on the timeline for these people that are being arrested regarding the Capitol on January 6th. I think, if possible, I mean, they love it when they pick one of these people up and there's another charge that they can hold them on. That's full bonus all the way, because I think they would prefer to have these people indicted and arraigned in federal courts after, like in early February, I think is what they would prefer. So, I mean, I can understand a lot of these people being given paperwork and released right now, not even being arraigned under indictment, just being told that they're being charged. Well, that leaves the option open to completely change those charges or add as many as they want. So, are there flight risks? I imagine there are. But I would expect that people like Torrio and some of these other people, I'm sure they're under surveillance. They're not going to flee the country. They won't be able to.
Yeah, time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, true enough. But then on the other hand, you know, that poor political victim Fabricator X has another fundraiser to live on burritos in Mexico. You know.
Yeah, we'll dedicate a whole show to his upstanding citizenship or whatever you call it. Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, it's all about who's telling the story, right? So I mean, there are some that say that that's someone who's persecuted by the system, and you and me are among the crowd that laugh and say, "Fuck that idiot." And then there are other people that will use the same excuse for people like Enrique Torrio and other people from Proud Boys and Three Percenters and Oath Keepers and everybody else. So I believe that's what they call free speech, but apparently that's gone. So I'm a little confused.
Yeah, nobody knows what free speech is anymore, man. It's just like they took us off Twitter. They're getting rid of our free speech. They won't let me scream racist things without losing my job. They're taking away my free speech. That's not it. We've explained it before. Go look it up. It's about talking against your government without repercussions. Has nothing to do with anything else. As much as you would like to say free speech is here so I could scream the N-word at black people when they're opposing my racist protest, then whatever. That's what you want to believe it. But when you get knocked the fuck out, then you'll see that's not what it's about.
Well, I found the quickest way to shut these people up is just to tell them that a private company deciding that your speech is inadequate for their platform is that company using their First Amendment right.
True, but here's the thing. It's funny. If you really pay attention, the Democrats and the Republicans, they'll flip on what's cool and not cool, what's acceptable and not acceptable, depending on who's doing it.
Yeah.
It's really
Absolutely.
weird.
And this is the thing. I mean, we go back to the old CIA axiom. We will know we have been successful when everything the people believe is a lie.
Yeah.
And this is just it. When so many people don't understand their own Bill of Rights, it means whatever you say it means. And that's Shangri-La for a propagandist.
Yep. So I guess
but I'm glad that the Pope still listens to us to get those distinctions worked out.
Yeah. I think we got to send him that picture of us smiling in the studio with the monkey, the chimpanzee, and remember he was wearing a spacesuit, and then we're going to autograph it and send it to the Pope because he really needs a picture of us autographed.
To put on his mantle of gold.
Yeah, he said we're the most amazing people you know.
Tremendous.
Did you see my tweets about the 19 or 17 missing years of Jesus' life or whatever?
No, I didn't.
It was pretty cool. It was like since he's omniscient, he knew that when he died, he knew he was going to die, so he was like upset because he knew that people were going to blame either Jews or Romans for his death when in reality it was Antifa. Stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I gave you 7 of them because I figured, that's a good number for that subject.
Right on. Right on. Speaking of which, are we going to do sponsors?
Yeah, let's do the sponsors and get the hell out of here, man. Oh, I don't even know if you know, but yeah, Nolan. Nolan is an awesome host who was with us a lot, and hopefully will be back with us again once he's feeling better. But he's going through some issues and illness stuff right now. But yeah, he said he's got somebody that he wants us to have on with us every once in a while when she can make it. So that would be cool, and we'll see how that works out. We might have a third person once in a while on the shows again.
Right on.
Less for me to have to talk. So yeah, let me get the. I don't have the groovy music in here today. I just gotta play. Actually, real good music. I'll play Black Guru because that's what's here. All right, go ahead, Glenn.
Today's show is brought to you by a mixture. I'm calling it BGD, Blue Gelato and Blue Dream.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I've been on this ice cream cake, wax, flour. They're both really, really good. But then right now, I'm on the live resin stizzy. I think it's live resin Billy Kimber, something like that.
Wow.
It's really fire. The live resin stizzies. If you have a stizzy, put that live resin cartridge in and get one. They cost like $10 more, but they really worth it. You'll fall in love with your stizzy all over again. Okay, so that's it till next week, Glenn. Anything else?
Let's see. Anything else? Punch a Nazi.
Punch a Nazi, kill a Nazi, do whatever. Just
Yep.
make sure.
No, I
they're
didn't
not
say
happy.
punch him with what?
Yeah.
Punch him with a sledgehammer, whatever.
And thank you to our two listeners, Celeb Scolder and the Pope. And that was in the order of importance. And we'll see everybody next week, hopefully. Happy New Year. And because Glenn did say it earlier and I didn't. Whatever, let's just leave, man. I don't have anything else to say. I'm just kind of like fumbling around here. Okay, bye everybody, we're out.